All right, build fans and Luma fans, I'm here with another one of our reviews. Now, we built this just recently. We finished this up, I believe, yesterday or so, a few days ago. This is still under the old Funwhole branding, but it is the Lumibricks branding stuff. It is the Old West Sheriff's Office. Now, for me personally, this was a gift that I got from my mother in law, but it was something that was on my list of things to get. It is one of the older sets, and the set that we actually have is what's called version 2. So this is right here, F9026. Of course, it's call numbers of what version or what set it is. Version 2.0. So, one of the big sets or one of the big changes in this set was the fact that the original one had stickers and this one does not. And you can discover that because if you go to the directions and you look, they have a thing about how to apply stickers. Now, the stickers on this set would have been much like the stickers that were on, say, the mail van, or not the mail van, the news van from Brick Loot. It is a tattoo type stickers that you lay out and then you pull the top layer off and it adheres down, almost like some model sticker decals, things that we get like that. And it looks almost like UV printed bricks when you're done. That would have been the type of stickers that this would have had. You lay it down, settle it out, get all the bubbles out, and then you pull the top layer off, and you're left with almost a tattoo on the brick. This, however, version 2 only has printed bricks. And this is the version that everyone is kind of picking up at this point. This is the one that everyone's getting. Now, with the box, it's got this beautiful kind of picture. It's actually, I believe, computer generated, but it's a picture of the sheriff's station. Of course, you get the vulture up there. You get, 4 minifigs in the set. And I'll talk about some things with that minifig. So, I have some complaints about it. I have some loves and I have some absolute complaints. And this is something that I need to bring up about this. So if Lumibricks is watching in the future, we get some corrections on some things. Hear me out, right? Okay. So we got, of course, the Sheriff's Old West Sheriff's Office here. What's included: user manual, building bricks, light kit, brick separator, service card. So the normal stuff that we always have is there. You get the Funwhole branding on this, delight day and night. Of course, we know that this is Lumibricks, but it has the same sort of thing. Then on the back, you've got a picture of the on and a picture of the off. But it's the same exact picture. One picture's got the lights on, one picture has the lights off. Nothing that kind of delves in and shows a lot more detail and stuff that we have with some of the other Lumibricks sets that we have. One thing Lumibricks has been doing is that as you go into the sets, you got a little bit more care to the packaging. This was a very, very old set, so obviously not all that's going to be there. Okay, now that's the box. There's nothing else really to say about the box. You got the service card, you got your booklet, normal stuff. The booklet is a little bit smaller booklet than we normally have, but nonetheless, it's still a very good book. It deals with all the workings of how to put this set together. You got some about Funwhole, so their background. This time you're actually getting what looks like photography of the Old West set. And I gotta tell you, it's a cool set. It really is. Inspiration. So it says, enthusiasts of Wild West surely have an infinite longing for the rugged, heroic, and free spirit of that era. Experience its vintage Western Sheriff's Office building block model, allowing Western enthusiasts to relive the passion and romance of that time. So, pretty cool. This vintage Western Sheriff's Office building block model strives to recreate the authentic setting of a sheriff's office in a small town in the American West around 1890. Okay, so we got an actual time around here. The office includes props such as desk chairs, file racks, gun racks, and camera with a jail cell across the sheriff's desk. Across from the sheriff's desk. And that is some cool stuff that I'd love to bring up. Set includes 4 characters: the sheriff's deputy, a prisoner, and the prisoner's accomplice. The sheriff embodies justice, maintaining law and order in a town and combating crime, while the villains disrupt the peace and create chaos. Western enthusiasts can use the sheriff to uphold the law and order in a small town, or use the villains to challenge the sheriff, creating various storylines Throughout this process, everyone can enjoy the historical charm of that era. Now, I will admit, I love the Old West sets. So far, we've got uh, Cowboy Camp, the Sheriff's Office, the Old West Traveling Circus, which was a gift from Lumibricks. It's a really good build, by the way. We have the Gold Mine, which I absolutely love that set. It's a great set, and honestly, I should review that one. Kind of go back and review a lot of these sets because they are really well worth it. Stagecoach, Treasury Stagecoach, both of which are amazing. And then the Cowboy Camp, which has some flaws, but it's not bad. But it's not, I think, my favorite set out of the line, though the minifigs are really good. This one is an early set, so it's got some things I think are issues, but all in all, this is a really solid set. And I'd like to break it down with you on the good things and bads. Now, the book, easy. They break everything down by bag. The steps are one and one. There's really nothing too complicated. There are a few areas where the wire pinching seems kind of abrupt. In my live, and if you go to the live, it's in there on my channel. We build this. I've got a day one. I got a day two. The day two, the newer version of it, actually has an area where I decided to wrap a wire around something and then didn't have enough slack to pull it down and put the plate where it needed to go. Definitely follow the directions, kiddos. Definitely follow the directions. They give you exactly what you need without making it too complicated. All in all, this was a pretty solid build. I enjoyed it. I did have a few pieces left here and there, but it was nothing that I was too concerned about as far as like, hey, we we don't have pieces in the right place, etc., etc. That it was a little bit more like, hey, I've got some extra pieces, so if I want to mock and do some things, I could definitely do that, right? So I know you're not here for the me talking about the randomness of the build, etc., etc. You're here to actually see the toy, and I would love to share that with you. Of course, this is the Sheriff's Office. Let me see if I can tilt that up a little bit so we can get a little bit better view of it. We do get this little side panel here that's a nice little wanted sign. Interesting enough, there's a picture inside the office that's got a wanted poster. This guy appears in both. He is one of the bandits in the Sequoia Bandit Hideout, which is a new Lumibricks set. And that is actually one of those sets I'm thinking about putting that one together next as I'm trying to get my Old West stuff built up and put together. On the back, you don't have anything. It's just kind of a facade, a little bit of a, just a sign here. All these are printed bricks. You've got a boot ad, you got a hiring poster, and some wanted stuff there. All right. And this is the set overall. I mean, it is a gorgeous set. You've got water trough and bags and whip. You got, of course, a sheriff over here. You got a pallet with some goods on it. You got your bandit over here, some grasses. You got a wanted poster, and it's like a missing persons poster over there. You got openings in the back, and then you've got a stairs that go up to an office up here. And I suffer from having really bad fingernails, so let me grab my pliers for that. You can, of course, open the doors. There's all sorts of stuff you can do in here. Now, it doesn't open up all the way because there is some hindrance with this, but if you kind of push it out of the way, you can get it open. I think bottles, glasses, things like that. Pretty cool. Now, I know that this is without lights on, so in order to put lights on, we'd take off this roofing panel up here. We're going to go ahead and turn that on. And here, let me kind of show you from an above view what that looks like, so you can really get a good idea of what it is that we are creating here. So right up here, if you take off this roof, your light switch would be right up here. So you can turn it on, turn it off, and this just sets right into place. But if you tap it, it's not coming off. It's actually model-esque as far as like what we are getting. It is such a cool look that I mean, it works really well for what we're doing here. Like it works superbly well. You got, of course, lights up here. You've got lights on the porch where the sheriff is at. You can kind of lift that just to see a little bit more. And that wire is hidden underneath. That door does open. You've got a lantern over here on the side near that pallet. Pretty cool. And you got your jail cell. But where this shines is in the back up here. And again, you have to apologize. I don't really get anxiety, so I tend to chew my fingernails off. And it shows in the long run here. You know what I mean? So this is the interior. Let me pull this forward a little bit. This is the interior of our sheriff station. Okay, so we've got, of course, a section up top where we can see if I can move this up just a little bit so we can get a little bit better view. I'm gonna go a little bit hands held here. You have to kind of forgive me. So we do have in there, you got your picture of your family over there. You've got this really nice golden bed. You do have a safe over here, which is really cool. And it does kind of open where you can pop that open just a little bit. There's a coin in there. And it's tension held, so it's not like it rotates or anything. You got a hat rack. You've got the over here, you got the keys, you've got a bed, you've got, of course, a door over here that opens. All really cool stuff. And you got even a bottle of, looks like bourbon back there, or some sort of alcohol, or I guess maybe it's shampoo, who knows. But then you've got, you know, your kind of heater over here, a bucket on the floor for your water. Really cool stuff. And then, of course, on the bottom, you've got your interior for your office. You've got, you know, this chair. You've got handcuffs and like a lamp and a quill over there with a write-up. You got your deputy over there. You've got a gentleman in the jail cell. I'll pull him out in a minute so we can really see. Even the camera back there, which we'll pull out, and even a little, oh my goodness, what are they called? It's a height chart, so we can get a good idea of how high our people are as we put them into the jail and write up the report. You've got, of course, a sheriff's plaque over here. You've got a couple rifles over here. Really cool stuff. Now, the jail cell, if we want to, and we'll go ahead and tilt this back. Now, in order to put a figure in, you've got this. It doesn't open up very far, and that's kind of one of my, I do have a few areas where I have a few pet peeves. In order to get your guy in, that doesn't open up, and the jail cell obviously doesn't open with a jail cell door. You can pop this open and do it that way, but there's nothing to indicate that this is meant to open. So that's kind of a downer for me. I'm not too keen on that. And then in order to open that up, you have to unhinge it from these. I'm always afraid of this because after a while these do tend to break over time, so I really want to make sure I take care of these and hope that they age well. But you've got this cool bench in there with a prisoner. You got your chains holding the bench up. There's some really beautiful Model S stuff in this that make it very, very fun. And of course, printed bricks and these bars and stuff that make it easy to kind of pick up. Now, with that, of course, it leaves a big open hole, but we know that we can put our jail cell back. So if we want to come in here, we can just drop that into place. Might have to line it up just a little bit. There we go. And then put our wheel back in, and, you know, we've got that play area set again. Now, other cool things about it, though, is if you were wanting to do a lot of like Lego type of photography, you could always open that side up, close that down, and take an interior shot of everything in there as well, which is pretty good. Now, areas of complaint. So with our light kit being up here, so we got our battery pack up here. if we were to remove this section here, that will turn off the bottom. But, looky there. Much like other sets, and I know Jang has talked about it as well, these plates, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. These plates up here do not hold the best way that they're supposed to. So these plates right here, so these are little tension plates that have battery pack that moves from here into there to light up all of this section in here. The problem that we have is that the clutch power of these studs are too high for this, so when they set in, they do tend to hold to those plates. Now, my plan is to take this, and I'm probably going to file the sides of these a little bit, so that way they don't hold quite as tough. I don't plan on reselling any of these, but I have had problems with those tension plates with other things down the way. I know the Midnight Haunted Mansion, that was kind of an area where I had some problems as well. Skate shop, etc. Like those plates, they're great. Their clutch power is very nice. They hold into place, but they tend to also not want to separate when it's time. Now, out of that, I did have a whole bunch of extra parts. Eventually, I think I'm going to put another plate on there to hold that into place. Now, we do get this really cool vintage style camera, and it's all made out of bricks, which is a really cool way of doing the photography. You got one printed brick on the back. You've got, of course, a wanted poster back here. You've got your tile here that has all of the heights on it. You've got a nice mirrored piece here. You've got a report being written up. There's a lot of beautiful stuff with this set that makes it worthwhile. Areas I have problems with. In order to get a rifle, if you want to use it, you're going to have to de-hook the whole thing. Instead of using, say, one tile here or a tile that had two claws on it, so a plate with claws and then a tile, they opted to have these inside the cabinet, which is fine, but it makes it hard to put back in, and then it's actually stuck to your rifle. So it's almost near impossible to use your rifle the way that you'd want them to. But the rifles, they do sit in figures' hands. You do get this really cool style, and it's one of the old style pistol revolvers that you can find with Lumibricks. Now, they are, I know with the Sequoia Bandit Hideout, they have the Lego style pistol that had been retired and is starting to come back, and then they're also using that style pistol. So we've got multiple guns in this set, or not in this set, but in upcoming sets that make it a lot of fun, because now it's like, hey, not only do we have a pistol, we have this other pistol, because, you know, the Old West just wasn't one type of pistol. You had a lot of different types. And I like that they're adding those little small nuances and details in there. Okay, the only other area besides for the plate here, which is a problem, and the fact that these are, instead of being clipped, are, you know, they're just kind of sitting in there. I'm not too keen on that. There's not a lot of, I'll have to go overhead so you can actually see this. Let's see. I had to go overhead so you can see this. But there's not a lot of room with that rifle rack and the office and everything else. This probably should have moved about 2 studs over this direction, and it might have made it easier. That might be something, if I take this wall apart, I might mock that and kind of figure out, hey, this is what I'm going to do to make that part a lot easier. Because right now, it is so jammed in there, it's hard to see. Like, this should have been over and probably lined up with that brick right over there. So it needed to be brought over, so that way there's a lot more room in there. But a lot of really cool building techniques as far as the blinds, as far as the table, etc. There's a little bit of tension with this table and this light, and that there's not a lot of wire on this, so you just want to be careful when putting it together. Really interesting way of putting chairs together. As a matter of fact, I'd love to make a video of how to put that chair together, and even this camera, because they're really good build techniques. Really good build techniques, including this crate over here. Now, other than that, the only other thing that bothers me, because we do have these really And I happen to like the Lumibricks figures a lot. I know a lot of people don't, and that's okay. But for me, I do like them. They have the anti stud on the feet, but they don't have anti studs on the back of the legs, so they really can't sit down in anything. But some of the sets are making it to where it doesn't have to sit down in a chair with studs. They're trying to build a lot of their chairs where they don't have that. The sheriff does fit in the chair, his office chair, actually fairly well. Let's kind of pull that out and take a look. So if you were to take this chair here and put him in there, pull his arms up, he does fit in that chair. Okay, so they do have some playability with them. Biggest thing is they do have the anti studs on the feet, so they're not completely useless in that way, but they're not going to sit inside of a vehicle as well as you'd want them to. That's something just to keep in mind. Now, one of my big areas of complaints is that we've got a sheriff that has a pistol. We have a deputy that has a pistol. We got 2 rifles in a rifle rack. We got one of his buddies in a jail cell. And then we got this really cool guy with the bandolier. Another bandit. Scar on his face. And he has no weapon. That would have been something to either have, like, I don't know, a pick or something that he could have been trying to break out his buddy, a stick of dynamite. Something on that level, I think, would have been a key feature to have. I think that would have made this set feel more like it was really thought through. We can have bandits, but if he has no way to get his buddy out, what's the point, right? You could even have an explosive wall that broke off, and that's also how you got in. So there are some things that it's like, at this point, this is an old set. They've really moved on since then. Like, they have really thought through a lot of their build techniques and building things. A lot of the build techniques of these sets are still, to this day, like highly, highly, highly grand in scale. The way they build the windows, the sand blue bricking or the boards on the outside using the grill plates along with or the grill tiles along with the regular tiles, even having a few plates exposed here and there to add texture. A lot of this is beautifully, beautifully done. We'll go ahead and tell you the water right here. Snap that off. We do have a water trough that has 2 loose, 1 stud, and then 1 modified tile that's got it's a 1x2 tile that's modified, so it's got 1 stud on it and transparent blue. Those are going out. I will probably not keep those in there. We could have found a better way to put water in the bottom of that, and that's just my opinion. But again, this is an old set. They were really thinking through the process. A lot of this build is beautiful, 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 well thought out. It is a solid set. So if you like Old West stuff and you're like, hey, I like Old West stuff, I'd like to get one of those, this is definitely worthwhile. I will put my Lumibricks affiliate link in the description down below. Even if you just go to the site to check it out and to click on it, that does help Lumibricks know that this stuff is getting out to you. And I'm hoping that this video helps you make a decision on whether you'd want this set or not. I think it's very cool. I'm definitely all for the Old West sets. I'd like to get more of them because I think they're grand. And I really do think that probably the Bandit Station, the Sequoia from Lumibricks this time, and not just through the Funwhole, but through Lumibricks, will probably be my next build that I do. Because again, I really enjoy these sets quite a bit. All right, I thank you all for showing up. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Comment down below, like this. It helps the algorithm know that you're liking what I'm making, and it helps me get more information out to you. It helps keep this channel up and going. So I thank you all for showing up today. I love you all. Jesus loves you more. There's nothing you can do about it. Good luck with the build, and happy brick hunting.